What is up, guys? Coyote Works here. Well, I'm so excited. It's Saturday and I'm heading back up into the mountains. So today I'm going to head up and try to find a section of the historic summit trail that traverses roughly along the summit of the Ochoco Mountains. And it was a historic route that was used to transport cattle and sheep back across to the different ranges across the Ochocos. And I've found different sections of it before, so this place I'm going on this trip, I'm going to look for a little different section of it. So the kinds of things I'll be looking for will be any kind of old cans, metal, rubbish that I can find, and then in particular blazes on old trees. But I've had some requests from guys also to detail a little bit of the gear of my kit and a few of the different things, so I'm also going to spend some time doing that on this trip. So I thought on this trip I'd try to go over in a little more detail my complete cooking system. So I'll touch on those kinds of things a little bit, and as usual show you guys some of the scenery, and if I find anything interesting I'll show that to you as well. So now it's just a matter of finding a somewhat level spot to park my Jeep for the night so I can set up my rooftop tent. And I want to get it configured, so I think I actually do want to have a little bit of a fire tonight. So I'm going to try to find a spot that I can incorporate a fire, and it'll be in a place where the wind's not blowing the smoke right back up into my Jeep. Alright, well the first thing I'm going to do is put some mosquito repellent on because I'm already getting eat up. So I keep it nice and handy right here on my door, and I'm using this Ben's DEET 100. Got a new chair here that I'm trying out. This is the Jet Tent Pilot chair. Solid steel frame, adjustable lumbar support, padding in the seat and the back, padding on the armrests, and it's a pretty good sized chair. So I'm going to start giving this a ring out, and hopefully it'll end up being a good chair for me. It's a little bit bulkier than I would like when it stows away in my Jeep, but you can't have everything, right? Oh yeah, this is living. Like that lumbar support in here, that's nice. Alright, this will be my light pole for the night. That'll just give me a little light out here where I'm going to set up my table and have my camp. And these are just those detachable pods off of my Ready Light. I just found a couple of pieces of wood here that I was able to stack up and make a field expedient little fire reflective wall. I don't really need one, but there's just a little bit of a breeze coming across this meadow, and this should keep the breeze from blowing the smoke right into my eyes. I'm just going to grab some of this old man's beard, this black moss that grows on these trees, and a few pine needles, and that's what I'll use to start my fire. Then I'll just grab a few of these nice dry pine needles right out of the base of this pine tree too. Alright, got my pine needles, got my Spanish moss or old man's beard, got some small twigs here. I like to kind of get a good little supply of fuel. I'm going to try to get this old man's beard to start with a spark from the fire steel, and then I'm also testing out this SE6HM. So let's see how it drags sparks off the fire steel. All right, well, it does its job all right. Alright, so the SE6HM meets one of my criteria for a field knife, camp knife, survival knife. It strikes sparks good off of a fire steel. It'll work. Alright, I got a lot of questions on my last video about this table. I got it from Free Spirit Recreation at gofsr.com, and it takes just a minute to set up. You got to pop the legs in the slots, but once it's set up, I really like it. It's one of my favorite camp tables that I've ever used. I like the square shape. It packs up really good, but it's really solid and stable, and it has a metal top, so I can set hot pans on it. I can literally pull my frying pan right off of the coals and set it on this table, and I haven't done any damage to the tabletop at all. Also, the tabletop has these little holes in it, so if you spill liquid on the table, the liquid just drains through to the ground, and it's really easy to clean up. And it's the perfect size camp table for one person. So because I'm using a wood fire reflector wall, and it's pretty dry wood, I'm going to try something. I think I showed you guys in my last video. I got this windscreen for a little portable camp stove, right? So this is meant to be a windscreen around a butane stove or something, but I'm actually just going to put it right here and let it be a little bit of a heat reflector, hopefully to keep this wood from getting too warm and bursting into flames. I can see it's already getting warm and charred, so we'll see how that works. Alright, well, it's time to get a mountain house going. I gathered up a little bit more firewood, and I think I'm actually going to stoke up the fire and get some nice atmosphere here going. It's starting to cool off. The nice thing is as soon as it starts to cool off, all the bugs disappear. Alright, I got a nice little treat with me tonight. I brought some fresh blueberries, some organic blueberries. I stopped at a little farm stand on the way out of town. So I'm going to rinse them really quick. Those are delicious. It's a real treat having fresh fruit out here. I put a few of these blueberries in my titanium plate, and I'm going to stick the rest of them back in the cooler. Alright, so I've got some blueberries and some chili mac with beef are on the menu tonight. Get some water in the pan. Fire up the Optimus Crux. In about 2 minutes, I'll have boiling water. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my blueberries. Like my water is boiling. Okay, I got my chili mac stirred up good. Now I'm going to set it down there kind of near the fire, just close enough so it can absorb a little bit of heat. Set it right back here where it can absorb a little heat from the fire while it's rehydrating. I'm going to do my Coyote Works modification. Sanitize my knife. Yeah, I don't know how Mountain House does it, but that's some delicious chili mac. So a little tip for you guys, if you're looking for some good shows to watch on YouTube, do a search for a show called Bushcraft. If you haven't heard of it, it's based in Australia. It's about a guy that kind of travels around through really all over Australia, and he looks at all kinds of different food sources out in the bush there, from animals to plants, roots, you name it. But it's a really cool show. He's basically, I think it's like back in the late 70s or early 80s or something, but he drives way back out in the bush, pulls a little trailer behind. I think he drives a different rig in different ones, but mostly he drives a Land Rover or a Toyota. It's pretty cool just watching him. He rolls into an area, sets up a camp, and then he stays there for a couple of days and walks around and checks out all of the different bush tucker. So I guess tucker is a word for food, so bush tucker is like wild food that they find in Australia. But it's just a really cool show, very interesting to watch. There's a lot of episodes on there, so next time you're bored and looking for long shows to watch on YouTube, well, they're not super long. They're like 28, 29 minutes long per episode, but do yourself a favor and watch Bush Tucker Man. Another thing I do when I'm buttoning up my camp is I always set my water jug upright. That way, if there is a little bit of a leak in the lid or something like that, I don't lose all of my water overnight. It was a pretty good day. I'm looking forward to doing some more exploring of this area tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to crawl into my sleeping bag and get some sleep. So for tonight, Coyote Works is out. Alright guys, I just had to show you guys this. Will you look how beautiful this is out here? This is what waking up out here is all about. Alright guys, so we're about ready to get serious about this breakfast. I've got my grill here. I'm going to set it up. And my friend Bill from Rimrock Outdoors made this for me, but this is a pretty handy little grill here. Now I just slide the grill down on top of here, tighten it up, and I've got my cooking surface. Alright, I got my Pathfinder stainless steel folding skillet. I went ahead and put a little bit of oil in there, and then I'm going to put these sausages in. We'll get these sausages browning up. One of the things I really enjoy is kind of a combination of car camping with modern conveniences and tools and things like that, and then blending that with some of the bushcraft skills that I grew up with, or some of the woodcraft skills. So typically as you look around my camp, you'll see that I utilize some of the modern conveniences where it makes sense, like things like my shovel and my table and my chair. Things like that are really hard to build out in the field. They take a lot of effort. But a lot of things like some kind of a little bench to set up my water dispenser on, poles to hang lights from, even oftentimes you'll see me build a teepee to cook over, things like that. But I just really enjoy kind of blending modern car camping or modern overland style camping with some of the old bushcraft woodcraft skills. One of the things I'll do sometimes when I'm cooking raw sausages is I'll kind of blanch the sausages. I'll just put a little bit of water in the pan and blanch them. That's a technical chef term that I know because I'm like a chef. But it's basically just steaming them a little bit. And especially when it comes to raw pork and raw chicken, I like to make sure it's done. Another little technique to cooking over a fire that I point out is I pull my coals off to the side to do my cooking on, but then I also keep a few pieces of wood going over there, so I'm continually making more coals. So as I need more heat under this pan, I can pull more coals over. Another technique is I'll just kind of keep a few sticks handy that I can kind of feed on underneath there just to get a little bit of flame. One of the tricks to cooking over a fire is keeping consistent temperature. So if I can feed some smaller sticks on there just to keep some flame going if I need it, or if I want to raise the temperature a little bit, that really helps. Alright, sausages are done. I'm just going to pull them out of the pan and slice them up a little bit. I'm going to go in the pan with my potatoes. I'll go in with the sausage. And there's pretty good flavor to this sausage, but I'm going to go in with a little garlic salt, pinch of Himalayan pink sea salt, and then a little bit of pepper. Now I'm just going to toss this up a little bit. There we go, back on the heat. While that's cooking, I'm going to wash out this pan. Oh yeah, look at that. About 2 more minutes and breakfast will be done. All right, breakfast is served. All right, guys, so as promised, I thought I'd go over my whole cook set. So this is all the cookware that I keep in my vehicle on a normal basis for all of my kind of overlanding car camping stuff. This is just a pot grab handle that can work with any of my pans. Then I carry kind of a spork thing, a fork, a couple of can openers, cutting board. Other than that, obviously, you need a good camp knife, something like this SE6HM. I have 2 cups in here. This is an MSR Duralite pan. This pan right here, I only use on my stove. This one does not go over the fire at all. And then I've got this large Pathfinder pot. This is what I'll use to make stews and larger potted things. Also, sometimes I'll fill this up with water and just leave it hanging over the fire so I have boiling water going all the time. Then I've got my titanium plate, which also, that titanium plate, I can double as a small fry pan to fry things up in. And then I've got my frying pan. This is a Pathfinder frying pan, and it has a folding handle, which I really like. It locks in place right there. Has a nice lid, stainless steel, it's easy to clean up. So let me talk to you about a couple of features that are really important for me on pans. One is, a requirement for all my pans is that they have some kind of a lid that has a handle on it that flips up. This is critical for when you're cooking things, your lid's getting hot and you want to pick your lid off. The second thing that's really important, and this is mostly for a pot, is a bail so I can hang it over the fire, and then that the bail stays locked in different positions. So I can move it out of the way if I want to pull the lid off and pour. Then I can set it upright and it stays in that position. The other feature is that it has handles on it. So I can pick up the pot and pour. So that's it. That's pretty much my entire cook set that I carry around in my Jeep with me, and that's all I really need to cook everything I need to cook out here. And since I'm going over cookware, I thought I'd show you guys a couple other things too. These Pathfinder pots come in 3 sizes. So this is the one that I keep in my car camping kit. This is a size that I'll put like in a lot of my backpacks and stuff. This pot is just about perfect for backpacking. And then this is the smallest size here. This is kind of a nice thing, and I may actually end up throwing this in my kit too, to replace one of my cups, just because it has a lid on it. So it's a little more versatile, it's a little more multi-purpose. All 3 of these are made by Pathfinder, and you can get them at Prepper Up in Prineville, Oregon. I'll put a little phone number and splash screen down there in case you guys want to order from there. And then here's another cooking system. This is another kind of a backpacking cooking system. This is a little stove, a canteen cup, and then a metal water bottle. So that's another kind of a cool kit for operating out of a pack, for putting in a day pack or something like that, because it's a water bottle, a pan, and even a little stove all combined. So I just thought I'd show you guys that, a couple other little options for cookware. One more little thing I thought I'd show you guys are these Wheezy Wipe, but these are super handy around the camp. So you've got this round little puck, but when you add a little bit of water to it, you can see it puffing up. And I might put a few drops on the other side. These are super handy and super compact. So now this is rehydrating or reconstituting into a nice size, really durable paper towel. So these are perfect for wiping up around camp, and they're really durable too. So one of them, you get it a little wet and it'll last a long time. Check this out. Nice, fresh. Bear's been turned into that stump looking for grubs. Just beautiful up here though. Check this out. The remains of an old water trough burned out of this log. So this is a spring that I saw on an old map that I'm guessing was along that historic summit trail. 100 years ago, they watered their cattle and their sheep and their stock, their driving horses, in that water trough right there. Yeah, this is pretty cool, man. So this is the first evidence on the trip I've seen of the old historic summit trail. So these were the high prairies and meadows that they grazed in through the summer, and probably even late in the summer when the grass was still good up here and it was all gone away down lower. So these old wooden water troughs are pretty cool. You can see another one back here behind me. So there's a whole series of them right here. So this must have been a major stock watering place and stopping place along the trail. The coolest one, still up on its blocks. You can even see a faint bit of the charcoal where they burned it out. Yeah, look at this. An old fire pit. You can barely tell what it is, but sure enough, it's an old fire pit. There'd been some old cowboy's campsite up here. Alright guys, well I'm back on the main gravel road and headed back for town. I've got about an hour drive to get back home. Once again, it was a great trip. I appreciate you guys coming along. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Coyote Works out.